I got into hockey when I was 6 because as a little fella I was too small to play football. So I started playing at Highgate Primary and then from there moved to Mitcham Primary and continued to play hockey there till year 7. And at year 7 I started playing down at the Sturt Hockey Club in under 14s, I think it was back then. I stayed at Adelaide till I was about 18, I think, and then I moved to Kingswood Hockey Club, and that was great. Like, I had some really good coaches along the way at Sturt. One of the coaches I had there, Trevor Rawlings, and he was a great influence on me. Jeff Coombs, and something that always inspired me to play was watching Michael Nobbs as he was preparing to play this is back in the late 70s, when he was sort of right on the cusp of making the Australian team, watching him just out there just cutting laps. When I was at Kingswood for probably about 10 years. And like I played back then in the A2s, and I actually coached Helen Stone for a while back in the day, and her sister. And then I went from Kingswood, I went out to, that's when I first sort of moved out to the Barossa Valley. And I think that was about 1992, I reckon it was. And that's where I met my wife, who was also a hockey player. That was with Two Wells Hockey Club, where I was president, coach, captain. We won 4 A-grade premierships in a row. First club to beat Newry in a final and break their run, so that was fantastic. Good times, made some lifelong friends. Back when I was playing for Two Wells, when I first came out to the Barossa Valley, the Gawler Club was really strong. They had 3 senior men's teams in a really good position, junior grades right through. And then, for some reason, I'm not sure what happened, the club basically just lost all their senior men's players. And I think it was 2 years before I came on board, they actually couldn't field a senior men's team in either grade. So the president of the club, Karen Wilson, and Lisa Johnson, another senior player, contacted me and said, "Oh, Matt, we'd like you to coach our A-grade men." So we sort of put it out there and sort of arranged the meeting at the Kingsford Hotel down in Gawler, and 2 blokes turned up. And I thought, well, this is a good start. So we started talking to the register of the club, and the register basically gave me a wad of paper and said, "This is every player that's played for the club in the last 20 years. Build a team." Go, great. So yeah, from there we started basically making some phone calls, setting up some Facebook groups and organising some chats. And basically even up to the first game, we weren't sure how we were going to go, but we got there. And as word spread, we got more and more people involved, and a lot of the older guys came back, which was fantastic. Then there were some new faces come into the club, partners of some of the girls players got on board. And yeah, all of a sudden we were starting to, I think we ended up having 25 guys play through one team last year. So that was really exciting. Like, some guys might have only played a couple of games because then they sort of went away with work and other sorts of things. So it was quite a different year from in between my time where I was coaching or playing down at Kingswood, and I moved to Adelaide Hockey Club again when both my girls sort of started playing junior hockey down there. I was sort of coaching a group that every training I'd have 16 people out there. They were out there early and everything else. And then I sort of came out and coached the Gawler boys, and they were pretty loose. Like, we were getting 6 guys out and they'd just sort of dribble in, go. So you adapt. You go in with a plan, and then obviously we just sort of change, and basically we see where we end up. But they always have fun, and yeah, as I said, we ended up with 25 guys playing during the course of the year, and as it happened, like, we ended up stringing about 11 wins together in the tail end of the season. This is after really struggling at the front end, once again just for numbers. But then by the end of the year, yeah, we won 11 games in a row, got to the grand final with Newry, and like, we were really competitive. And we probably overachieved for the season. We ended up with a 4-2 loss which was honourable. But you know, I think with the group of guys from last year and even this year, like we've actually had more people contact us to actually play hockey. And some, like I think in the B grade team, we've actually now got 4 guys, which it's their first season playing. So you know, and that's as mature adults as well. So that's great that we can now get older people into our sport as well. So yeah, no, it's really exciting. Well, currently within hockey, I'm the umpiring development officer in the Barossa Valley. I umpire any games my daughter feels fit to roster me onto. I'm the A-grade men's Gawler Strikers coach. I'm the state country head coach. I play myself this year in the B-grade men's team, which I begrudgingly did again, seeing as I was one of the guys that sort of pushed for the club to actually get a B-grade team. I thought, well, I need to support this. And as I said, like we've got 4 guys that have never played before, so support we do. I'm still a hockey dad. My wife's a hockey widow. But no, that's about it at the moment, I think. I'm Matt Kingsmill and I love hockey.